we are peering into the darkness of an ancient tomb discovered beneath the famed Treasury in Petra. Beneath the feet of millions of tourists who have taken souvenir photos in front of the rose-red facade of Petra's Treasury, and 4 meters deep underground, there was a deeply buried and hidden secret that had not been touched by the warmth of the sun or the touch of fresh air for 2,000 years. It was an entirely undisturbed and secret tomb containing the remains of 12 people and intact pottery vessels that have never been touched by thieves. How was this chamber able to remain completely hidden beneath the most famous archaeological site in the Middle East? And what have the latest DNA analyses revealed about the identity of those buried here? The answer won't just change what you know about Petra, but will rewrite the entire history of the Nabataeans. Chapter 1. Did scientists succeed in finding a chamber that no one had ever touched? For more than 200 years, archaeologists believed that the city of Petra in Jordan had become an open book. They surveyed every cliff, mapped every passage, and wrote volumes about the Nabataeans, that ancient Arab civilization that carved its city into the heart of the rose-red rocks in late 2024. And just a few years before this discovery, the name of Petra became associated with an amazing technological development. A joint scientific team from the University of St. Andrews and the American Center of Oriental Research decided to re-examine the area around Al-Khazneh using ground-penetrating radar technology. How does this radar work? It sends high-frequency electromagnetic pulses deep into the rock. When the waves hit solid rock, they return in a certain way. But if they pass through an empty cavity, the signal bounces back in a completely different way, allowing scientists to create a highly detailed three-dimensional representation of what lies beneath the surface without ever having to move even a single stone. But why exactly did scientists incorrectly identify this location for many long decades? The reason lies in a natural, visual, and historical illusion. For 2,000 years, the torrential floods that flowed through the narrow, sick passage deposited massive layers of gravel and dirt in front of the Treasury. These layers reached a thickness of 4 full meters. Scientists were walking on the modern surface thinking it was the original surface of Nabataean Petra, while the city's true ground level was buried deep below. In 2003, preliminary excavations led by Dr. Fawzi Zayedin revealed the existence of a lower structure. But the technology at the time didn't allow for a full view of the features. And when the year 2024 finally came around, modern radar surveys uncovered the existence of a high-resolution, clearly defined cavity extending beneath the left side of the Treasury. The archaeological field operation began. 4 meters of compacted soil were meticulously and carefully cleared away. The lingering question echoed among the team members: are we exploring a natural cavity formed by water? Or are we facing a room built by the Nabataeans and carefully sealed? After weeks of hard work using brushes and delicate tools, the surprise appeared. Steps carved into the solid rock led downward, and at the end there was a solid ceiling stone. When the stone was carefully removed, cold air, trapped since the time of the Roman Empire, flowed out. And when the scientists inserted their precision cameras, the result was a scientific shock. A perfectly preserved burial chamber that no human had set foot inside and no thief had ever laid eyes upon for over 2,000 years. Who are the owners of the 12 skeletons? Inside that dark chamber, the directed lights revealed a scene that no archaeologist had ever seen before in Petra. 99% of the city's tombs have been looted throughout the ages. But this chamber remained completely protected. At the bottom, the team found the remains of 12 people. These remains were not scattered randomly, but were arranged according to a specific Nabataean burial order, and around them was a collection of complete funerary artifacts. Among the discoveries were several remarkably rare pottery vessels and an exquisitely carved pottery cup that closely mirrored the sophisticated aesthetics found in ancient classical designs. The scientists paused at this number. 12 people. Who were they? And what was their social status? To understand the importance of these individuals, we must delve into the Petra tribe itself. At the height of its prosperity 2,000 years ago, the city was home to between 20 and 30,000 people. However, most of the buildings we see today on the mountain facades are not homes for the living, but rather tombs and shrines for the dead. The Nabataeans believed that the bond between the living and their ancestors was not broken by death, which is why they built their funerary city close to their trading centers. But burying someone directly beneath the Treasury is not like burying them anywhere else. The Treasury is the most important and grandest monument in Petra. It stands at a height of approximately 40 meters high and stretches about 28 meters wide. And it was carved entirely into the mountain from top to bottom. Most historians believe it was built as a royal tomb for the Nabataean king Aretas IV, who reigned as king from 9 BC to 40 AD, which was the specific period when the Nabataeans reached the absolute pinnacle of their economic power. For these 12 distinct individuals to be buried in this lower tomb attached to the treasury means one very significant thing. These were not ordinary people. They were either prominent members of the Nabataean royal family or distinguished high priests and leaders who held an extraordinarily high and exceptional status in the state. But here, a compelling new mystery presents itself. If these people were from the elite, why was their tomb completely sealed off with mud, dirt, and flood deposits and never once reopened again to receive more burials, as was the standard customary practice in Nabataean family tombs? Did some kind of unexpected event happen that led to this entire location being closed forever? Why did this tomb survive while the others were looted? To answer this question, we need to understand the fierce historical struggle Petra waged against the nature of its desert, specifically the battle with water and floods. Petra is located in a valley surrounded by rocky mountains on all sides, and when heavy rains fall in the winter, the narrow passages, especially the sick, turn into raging water channels that destroy everything in their path. How are the Nabataeans able to survive and thrive in this environment? The answer lies in the genius of the water engineering developed by the Nabataeans. They built a massive dam at the entrance of the Sick that diverted floodwaters away from the city and into artificial mountain channels and tunnels. They also excavated deep mountain reservoirs and built a network of clay pipes that extended across many kilometers to supply the city with drinking water year-round. Petra was an artificial oasis capable of managing water with extraordinary levels of precision. But what exactly happened when the kingdoms collapsed? After Petra was annexed to the Roman Empire in 106 AD, then, after devastating earthquakes struck in 363 AD, the city's hydraulic system began to be neglected. Maintenance of the dams and canals stopped. And here is where the great irony occurred. When human hands abandoned the management of the dams, the seasonal floods returned, sweeping tons of soil, gravel, and sand through the sick, depositing them directly in front of the Treasury's facade. And over the course of many centuries, a substantial 4 meters of compacted hard silt accumulated above the entrance to the lower tomb. While notorious tomb robbers and opportunistic treasure hunters were busy digging into the higher tombs on the mountain walls and looting their precious contents, this lower tomb remained completely submerged and safely hidden, protected under a thick, heavy layer of natural debris left behind by centuries of flash floods. The very reason that led to the burial of the lower part of the city is the same natural weapon that protected it from looting. The nature that the Nabataeans fought with, their engineering, became the faithful guardian of their elite's remains for more than 2,000 years. Was it just a coincidence? Or did the Nabataean architectural design take into account the possibility of flooding the site to protect it from tampering? Can DNA results change the history of the Nabataeans? Now, modern scientific research is leading us from conventional archaeological excavation tools to the sophisticated halls of advanced genetic laboratories. The human remains of the 12 individuals found in the tomb constitute an incredibly priceless and significant scientific treasure, because they are complete, uncontaminated remains preserved in exceptional environmental conditions. These ancient skeletal remains are currently in the process of undergoing 2 distinct and highly detailed types of precise analyses. The first of these methods is isotope analysis. How does this analysis work? As a person grows, their bodies naturally absorb various different chemical elements like strontium and oxygen from the water and plants they eat every day. These elements are deposited in the enamel of the teeth and in the bones, leaving a permanent chemical signature that identifies the geographical environment where this person lived during childhood. If the scientific analyses clearly demonstrate that the strontium levels in these individuals' dental enamel closely correspond to the levels found in the local rocks and water of Petra, this proves that they are the original inhabitants of the area. But if the scientific results clearly demonstrate chemical ratios that trace back to the Mediterranean coasts, southern Arabia, or Egypt, that would unveil a truly remarkable historical surprise. Petra was not just a local capital, but a thriving international crossroads for influential figures and commercial elites from every corner of the vast ancient world. Second, extracting ancient DNA. Using samples extracted from the petrous part of the temporal bone in the skull, which is the hardest bone in the human body, and the best at preserving genetic links. Scientists are trying to determine the genetic relationship between the 12 individuals. Are we looking at members of a single royal family whose genes were passed down through generations? Or are they unrelated individuals with absolutely no biological blood connection, specifically selected and chosen based on their important religious or political roles? Cracking this genetic code won't just reveal who was buried beneath the treasury, but will also solve one of the greatest mysteries in ancient Arab history. Where exactly did the Nabataeans come from? And how did they merge with neighboring peoples to create the wealthiest trading empire of their time? What other secrets might Petra be hiding? Despite this monumental discovery, archaeologists have all agreed on one shocking fact. What has been uncovered so far is estimated to represent a mere 15% of the total size of Petra. The vast majority, the other 85%, is still hidden deep underneath the layers of sand and rocky mountains. Remarkably, within just the span of the last 10 years alone, modern technologies have completely changed our understanding of this city. In 2016, by using satellite imagery and drones, scientists discovered a staggeringly large ceremonial platform north of the city. Its total area is equal to that of several major professional sports stadiums, and absolutely no one had ever realized that existed before. If advanced radar surveys have conclusively demonstrated the existence of hidden cavities and other chambers beneath and around the Treasury, with vast underground spaces that are significantly larger than that of an Olympic swimming pool, so why don't scientists immediately start opening all those chambers? What is stopping them from digging up the entire floor to reveal what's underneath? The answer reveals a complex scientific and ethical dilemma facing modern archaeology. The first problem? The stability of the monument. The massive facade of the Treasury is not a building standing on concrete foundations. Rather, it is entirely carved into the wall of a mountain made of pink sandstone. This rock, despite its apparent hardness, is highly affected by changes in humidity and water infiltration. Excavating the rooms and lower cavities that extend beneath the facade without precise engineering studies could alter the distribution of loads and rock pressure, which could lead to disastrous consequences. Cracking or collapse of parts of the greatest archaeological facade in the Middle East. The second problem, the battle of oxygen and time. When an ancient chamber remains sealed for 2,000 years, a very unique environmental balance develops inside it. A constant humidity level, keeping stable air pressure, and a complete absence of sunlight and living bacteria. As soon as a small hole is made and outside oxygen enters, a rapid chemical decomposition begins, affecting organic remains, pottery, and plant-based colors that have survived for centuries. For archaeologists, the act of opening up a chamber without being completely and thoroughly prepared to restore and preserve every single millimeter inside it within a few hours is considered a form of indirect and irreversible destruction of history. But Petra is not alone in this battle. What is happening beneath the Treasury today is part of a massive global revolution known as the era of non-invasive excavation. At the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, scientists have recently used cosmic ray and space particle technology to confirm the existence of a massive secret cavity above the Grand Gallery corridor without moving a single stone. In the forests of Mexico, advanced LiDAR scanning technology has successfully uncovered and revealed vast, sprawling ancient Mayan cities buried deep beneath the dense tree canopy. We are living in an era where archaeologists no longer carry an axe first, but instead carry digital simulations and remote sensing devices. And today, Petra stands at the heart of this revolution. Each and every detailed radar map that is carefully drawn beneath its rosy ground near the Treasury represents a significant and vital step forward toward accurately predicting and understanding what the future holds without disturbing a single stone of humanity's precious heritage. The question experts are pondering now is, if this underground chamber preserved the remains of 12 members of the Nabataean elite, so what might we expect to see if the opening of the larger adjacent cavities is confirmed? Could we be on the verge of discovering the lost royal archive of the Nabataean kingdom and gaining the ability to read its history? The true story of Petra is not only in its grandeur visible on the surface, but in its astonishing ability to keep its secrets underground. For 2,000 years, kings, conquerors, traders, and millions of tourists have passed over this very spot without realizing that they were walking above a frozen moment in time, pulsing with history. The Nabataeans didn't just leave us stunning rock-carved cities, but they also left us an engineering and intellectual mystery that challenges even the latest technology of the 21st century. And with every new genetic analysis released from the laboratories on the remains from the lower tomb, we come one step closer to hearing the voices of those who were sealed within the rock before the birth of the modern world. The interactive question of the episode. If you were in the place of the archaeological excavation team and the radar scans revealed the presence of a new secret chamber directly beneath the Treasury, would you support opening it immediately to uncover its secrets? Or would you prefer to leave it sealed to protect it and ensure the safety of the Treasury for future generations? Write your opinion and prediction for us in the comments below the video. If you enjoyed this exploratory journey into the depths of Petra and genuinely felt that it gave you an entirely new and unique perspective on the rich and complex history of this world landmark, don't forget to support the channel and share the video with history and mystery lovers. And make sure to subscribe to the channel and be sure to enable the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future high-quality documentaries. We really appreciate you watching today, and see you next time for a new archaeological discovery.